why are they pushing this political agenda? So then I go to this link that says America, Republic, or Democracy. And I'm like, are you kidding me? They have that on their Alpine School District little webpage on their mission. America is a Republic or Democracy? So I click on there, and it said, it reverted me to a Green Party socialist man from California who's running for representative there, Bill Myers. He loves me. He's written all about me now. Anyway, he went on to say that, oh, the Constitution was a big mistake. The Founding Fathers were predatory elitists. They were only out for wealth and gain. And I'm thinking, this is on a school district website. What is going on here? And so I looked this guy up and look on YouTube. I won't go into it now. There's not enough time. But he is very off. And so look for the full story on utahsrepublic.org. Well, anyway, what I did is I took all this information. I kept researching. And I looked all over their website. I found horrible things. And I thought, parents need to wake up. I need to tell people this. So I came up with an email. I met Oak during this time. He was already set up with this website. So I said, oh, you have to help me with this. He said, gladly. And so we went ahead and I put this email out. And it got the attention of a whole lot of people, like across the nation. It has been picked up by Phyllis Schlafly. This is a big story. So if it can happen in conservative Utah, it can happen anywhere, right? So here's the problem. We went to a school board meeting. We thought, well, we'll just bring it up to them. We're the good guys. We found out something wrong. They will automatically say thank you. Well, no. They called us special interests, and we're not going to bow down to special interest group. And they are very, very upset with us. We're the bad guys, and we misrepresented them.
Oh, my word.
Okay, so here's my question. Why won't our school administrators listen to reason? How come we're the bad guys? Well, through a lot of research, I found that there are two completely different purposes of schooling. Parents assume that they're sending their kids to school to do what? To learn academics, and so little Johnny could be socialized. Those are the two main reasons that you send your kids to school, to have a little fun. Well, the people who are at the head of this whole education movement, that's not their goal at all. That's why academics wasn't important to them. That's why when I go to the teacher and the principal and say my daughter's not learning enough, they sit back and they could care less, because that's not their goal. The purpose of public education, the Founding Fathers had completely different reasons. To have a well-informed citizenry, to know and protect our God-given rights, to teach religion, to teach morality, to ensure freedom, to resist tyranny, and they wanted localized control. However, at the same time, we need to make sure, the Founding Fathers, and we need to make sure that our Constitution is upheld, and for a strong country, the Marxists, the communists, the socialists, they have the same goal. So their countries are doing the same exact thing, except for their goals for their children are to perpetuate tyrannical government, to produce non-thinking workers and followers, little worker bees, to teach atheism, to encourage immorality, which we'll go into later, to take a child away from its parents as soon as possible so it belongs to the state. They want schools to be federally controlled and financed.
So we've just gone up to the top of the roller coaster, just climbing, 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 and now we're about to go down. So this is going to go really fast. When the math issue was going on, I said, where did these dumb math programs come from? What in the world are they thinking, removing the times tables and these things? And along the course of my research, I came across Cleon Skousen's book, The Naked Communist. And in there, he lists 45 goals of the communists. And I read this, and I started to go, wow, there's several of those that are quite alarming that deal with education. And so you can see here some of their goals. Get control of the schools, soften the curriculum, take away logic skills, take away reasoning skills, put the party line in textbooks, control all the student newspapers, support any socialist movement to give centralized control over any part of the culture, including education, infiltrate and gain control of the unions. You didn't know the NEA just endorsed on their website Saul Alinsky's book, Rules for Radicals.
Yeah.
Just if you hadn't seen that, it's out there. And then the last one, which you're going to see here in just a minute as well, emphasize the need to raise children away from the negative influence of parents. Attribute prejudices, mental blocks, and retarding of children to suppressive influence of parents. So these were some of their goals. Yuri Bezmenov, he defected from the KGB, the Soviet Union, back in, I don't know, the 60s or 70s. And during the 70s, he did a series of video interviews with Ed Griffin, author of The Creature from Jekyll Island. He said there's 4 steps to a communist takeover of a country. The first step, demoralization, takes 15 to 20 years because you do it through the education system. You go in, and demoralization is not like, oh, I feel bad about my country. It's make them immoral, demoralize them. And as a result of that, the KGB knew that if you demoralize someone, take away their morality, they can't recognize truth when it's presented to them right in front of their faces. Takes away the ability to recognize truth. There's no light. The second phase is destabilization. Takes 2 to 5 years in a country. And these are just numbers that he tossed out back in the 70s when he did this video. To destabilize a country takes a few years. You have to put enormous pressure on different parts of the economy, and it creates conditions where tipping points can occur. Then crisis. Crises happen very quickly. I mean, you could just kind of speculate, you know, maybe a few industries like banking, mortgage, healthcare, auto industry, you know, where tipping points, crises may have been reached, where then the federal government, or as in his words, comes in and they say, everything is normalized. We have restored the chaos that was taking control. We are now in full control. So that is how the individuals essentially take over our country through a communist takeover. So now we're going to go into who's been influencing the education system in our American public education system. Karl Marx. Marx wrote the Communist Manifesto, and you all probably know this. His 10th plank was free education for all children in government schools. Ezra Taft Benson said, well, the reason that he wanted this was because the person who believes least has the most say. The person who believes most has to give way, because in a public school, you have to teach common principles. So the person who believes in God has to say, well, we're not going to learn about that anymore because there's somebody over here that doesn't believe in God, and we can only teach common principles. That's where the danger comes in. And you can look up this full quote later.
Horace Mann, the father of education, he is the person who came up with compulsory schooling. And you could probably know why after I was finished with that. He says, what the church has been for medieval man, the public school must become for democratic and rational man. God will be replaced by the concept of the public good. The common public school shall create a more far-seeing intelligence and a pure morality than has ever existed among communities of men. Some of you know this was brought up earlier in a class. John Dewey. John Dewey was one of the founders